Part of the little Nano Talon has a 3D printed piece right here in the bottom of it to click in a GoPro camera for doing surveys and stuff. It's pointed straight down in this bottom hatch. I don't need it, and I think it's blocking me from getting some batteries in there like I want that I'm playing with, so I'm going to take it out. Well, that piece wasn't screwed in there because the tops of the plastic just broke off on both sides. And I don't know if it's glued to that servo right there. It just doesn't want to come out of there. So I decided I'm also going to take this little USB port out of the side because of the wire that sticks down in the front's just blocking stuff. Just wasn't a good place to put it. They should have put it like back here. Good Lord, I can't believe how long these screws are. They just don't want to come out. There's just no need for a screw that long there. Two of them. Just the weight alone I hate. I had to go grab another one of those controllers and look at that connector. Those screws look kind of decorative in a way. This is a brand new one. There's no plate on this side to pinch this. I guess you have to come up with your own design. And on this, they came up with nothing. So after taking those screws out, it looks like this is glued in there. Those screws were just wasted weight. So now I'm going to see if I can get that out of there somehow. Well, I got it out without much damage to the area. They did a pretty good job of cutting their hole. I mean, they really did. Now I've got to get the wires for the camera and video, and they're kind of grouped up there together and sort of hot glued to the top of that connector. I got to get them off, and then that connector's free. Okay, I moved the USB out, and you can see there's a black and a red wire coming up to this junction to supply ground and voltage to both the camera and the video transmitter. But over there on the right, which I can't point very well right now, let's see if I can point from inside. Over here on the right, on the top, you can see stuff hanging down. That's actually hot glue where they had the wire for that USB just covered in hot glue there. And that's a 1/4 inch thick or so. I'm trying to get that out of there so it doesn't hinder the battery or batteries. Hey, I got it peeled back a little bit. I pull a little more out of there, I'll be in real good shape. All right, I got it out. It was sticking down enough just to still hinder stuff. Now let's see what we got. Well, that's a bummer. Not only did they fix it on the 2 posts, I had to cut this one. I thought it was holding it in, but it wasn't. It was the fact that the whole darn bottom of it was hot glued into the fuselage, and it just, I finally just pulled on it. As you can see, I pulled a plug, a big plug of foam out of the model, just making it lighter. But it doesn't seem to have caused any, I don't think, any structural or any other problems with it. You can see all the way through it now. That's about it. But look what it lets me do. I can put a 4S1P lithium-ion battery in that compartment now. The hatch closes perfectly, and I can get a second 4S1P 3500 milliamp hour battery in the front. That gives me an all-up weight of 905 grams, which you guys say that you've had them up to 1,000. So let me know if anybody thinks I shouldn't throw this. But there it is with 7,200 milliamp hours of lithium ion power. Now this should do much better than those 1,300 milliamp hour LiPo batteries. Whew. Started trying to heat this with a heat gun to get the styrofoam off the back of it, and I got this so hot that this PVC started melting again, so I stopped. It didn't want to come off the back, so I started using isopropyl alcohol, and lo and behold, I got that big plug off the back of this unit. So now I can glue this back, hot glue this back inside that model. That poor old model's got so much hot glue on it now, it ain't even funny. So I can actually fix the plug inside there. All right. How did I do? Now only you guys and me will ever know that that plug was once ripped out of that bottom of the Nano Talon. For right now, I'm just going to take this. I disconnected it, brought it up to the top here. I'm just going to secure it like that for the time being. And what this has done, I also hot glued up the wires. Let's see if I can show that. Right there, which kind of gets the supply wires going across the top, and then those where they're all connected together that go to the camera and the video transmitter are kind of out of the way. And except for this is my compass / GPS wire. Get that up out of the way. Now you see I have a much more open battery compartment. Boy, they had me kind of choked up there. Wasn't bad. Was set up so you could buy one of these and immediately use it to do surveys, but it wasn't bad. Just put the bottom hatch in again. So that with that bottom hatch back in, like I say. So that gives me almost a free and clear battery compartment now. They had me too choked up in there. I didn't like that from the start. I'm able to get a little ZOHD lithium ion pack 4S1P 3500 milliamp hour in the front of it easily to fly with just one of these. And I can get two in it and get a CG. Don't know that that's too heavy or not. I can't get a 500 milliamp, 5,000 milliamp hour pack in there, and there's no way on the planet I'll get a 10,000 milliamp hour pack in there. So we're just going to go with what we got now today, free and clear, to be able to just take a little old pack like this and just slide it right in there wherever we want to put it. No more flailing around. So we'll start out with that 3500 and see what happens there. That'll be almost 3 times the little 1300 I was using. I ended up running that USB back this direction and looping it around, and it kind of pushes on this corner with the little connector part, and with its cable on this part right there, kind of trying to be wider than that, and it keeps itself really nice and tightly fixed there without pulling any strain on this. Now yeah, I can't get there to connect to that USB connector anymore. So I guess I'll be talking to this plane. I can talk to it on the bench through the telemetry radio back here, just as if I was hooked to it with a USB cable. So there's a distinct, oh yeah, the only thing I can't do is flash the firmware. You have to have this connected and connected via USB cable to flash the firmware. You cannot flash firmware through telemetry. But as long as I'm not flashing firmware, don't really have to have it connected. I might just take it out completely. Fly it one good time and make sure it's that I like it. And there's a good chance I'd just leave it on that firmware for the rest of its existence, even though there's other firmwares come out. There's been some wild firmwares being released lately by Ardu Pilot. They're doing aerobatics in the auto missions now. Anyway, so that basically finishes that up. I like that a whole lot better. The USB doesn't bother me as much as I like having such great access to the battery compartment now. That's the way it should have been. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.